Hey guys, it's Miss Lester back again for Vocabulary Alley, week 2 for March. All right, let's go ahead, look at our clues and our sentences to find out what our vocabulary word is for this week. Our first sentence says, I thought I'd be blank to finish the job, but I didn't have enough time. So this person could not do something because they didn't have enough time. So when you can or cannot do something, that means you are able, either able or not able. So in this case, I thought I'd be able to finish the job, but I didn't have enough time. So this person was unable, learning those prefixes that we learned last week. They were unable to finish this job. So in this case, the word is able. Sentence number 2. The table fell apart because some bolts were blank. Well, why do you think a table could fall apart if bolts were... Well, what are bolts? Bolts are like screws or something that keep things tight together. So if something fell apart, then the bolts were, they were loose, okay? So the loose is when something is not tight, all right? When they're not tight. Something when they're not tight. All right, let's look at word number 3. Our sentence says, my sister will blank and smile at any dog she sees because she really likes dogs. Well, her sister will blank and smile at a dog. Well, when you look at something that you really like, well, I want to break down look, okay? Because I'm going to use this word sees, because so if she sees something and smiles, that means she's looking at it or seeing it. And smiles at any dog because she really likes dogs. Well, what happens? What's the word when somebody looks at something for a very long time, very intently? Well, our word would be to stare. So my sister will stare and smile at any dog she sees because she really likes dogs. Blank hit the town when the tornado struck and destroyed all the homes and stores. Ooh, what do you think could happen in this sentence? Well, it looks like something bad, of course. Something very bad happened if tornado struck and destroyed the homes. So we're looking at something that caused maybe some damage. So they caused a lot of damage and really, really, really destroyed something. Well, what are those things called? Maybe kind of when a tornado comes through a room and it hits, it's called a disaster. So disaster hit the town when the tornado struck and destroyed all of the homes and stores. So of course, with this disaster, not only comes damage, also will bring on suffering. All right, and suffering is also when somebody is having a hard time handling and dealing with what had happened. So the people, the townspeople will suffer because their homes and stores were destroyed. All right, let's look at the next one. The next one is, everyone was filled with blank over the death of the family cat, Mo. Well, I would think that we might have something very bad happen to maybe a family pet or sometimes even a family member. And when something very, very bad happens, how do we feel? Well, of course, we feel really sad, but sometimes we're so sad that it's like it takes everything out of you. So when you're so, so, so sad, they're filled with, well, I would think extreme sadness, right? You would cry and feel like, you know, you can't move on with the day. So when you're filled with that extreme sadness, you are experiencing sorrow. So everyone was filled with sorrow over the death of the family cat Mo. Now, on to something a little bit different. The little girl had short, straight hair, except for one little blank by her right ear. Ooh, we could definitely use clues in this sentence. If you see, this girl had short, straight hair, except for one little blank by her right ear. What could be the opposite of straight? Maybe curly. So she had one little curl by her right ear. And when we use the word curl, that means something that has kind of like a curve, or they also say coil, maybe kind of looks like a spring. And that would be a curl. All right, next sentence. The car ran over a blank in the road and it made the boxes in the back seat fall over. All right, so if your car is going over something, so if a car ran over something and it made the boxes in the back seat fall over, then you would think that the car is just going like this, bouncing all over the place, right? So some sort of, it's bouncing, it causes the car to bounce. So what could cause a car to bounce up like this? Well, usually when there's a bump in the road, it can make things in your car, even you, bounce around, right? So the car ran over a bump. Now, a bump is, how to describe a bump would be like a small lump or raised area. So if you have something flat, and then all of a sudden there's this bump right here, and you have, this would be considered your bump. It could be on the road, it could be even on your skin, maybe, or on like a back of a case. You could feel the texture is bumpy. All right. So that was what bump means. Let's look at the next sentence. In the winter, all the trees look so blank without leaves on them. Well, if you think about the trees and they have no leaves, so you have this poor tree and it has nothing on it. It looks what? It looks kind of, I would say it looks empty, right? Empty. So it has nothing on it. It looks empty and looks actually kind of sad, doesn't it? So when something looks very empty, another word that they would use would be bare. Now, we're not talking about a bear in the woods, raw, like the animal. That's actually spelled differently. That's spelled B-E-A-R. But if you have the B-A-R-E, that means empty. Okay. So in the winter, all the trees look so bare without leaves on them. All right, let's look at our ninth word. Harry had to save up all his money to buy the blank ring. Okay, So if he needed to save money, what kind of ring would it be? Well, it's definitely not cheap because he wouldn't need to save money if it was cheap, right? So it has to cost a lot of money. Something that costs a lot of money would be something that is expensive. All right. So we see here, I'm going to underline each syllable. Expensive. So Harry had to save up all of his money to buy the expensive ring. Okay. And on to our very last word, blank. We couldn't see the view of the valley because of all the fog. All right. So sometimes bad things can happen and you're not able to do something. So what could that be considered? Okay. So if you're looking into off in the distance and you want to see that thing, but that building is blocking it. Or maybe you're walking outside and you step in a puddle and you get your shoes wet. Oh, man. Or sometimes maybe you're walking outside and a bird poops on your head. Or you accidentally drop your phone in the toilet. Oh no. So those things are basically when something unlucky happens to you, right? Something bad, or just, you have bad luck. So these unlucky things can happen to people. And when that is happening, they call that unfortunate. So unfortunately, we couldn't see the view of the valley because of all the fog. Unfortunately, my hand slipped and my phone fell into the toilet. Ugh. So these are all of our words for this week for March. I sure hope that you're able to learn some new terms this year and apply that to your word nerd coming up in the next couple clicks. See you next week. Bye.